Go ahead.
Hi there, my name is Daniel from Transcone Trailer Sales. I'm going to be walking you through your 2023 Connect SE 191 Mbse. We are just going to start off the back of the trailer. You're going to notice that you are pre-wired for an observation camera. If you were looking to want to get into one of those, you could call our parts department and they can get you everything you need to get set up for that. We are just going to start off with the back bumper here. You pull this cap off. You got your sewer hose when fully extended. It's about 20 feet long. You got those two ears. Those are going to be the two ears that connect to your sewer outlet. I'll show you that in a second. We do just keep this sewer hose in the back bumper here just to keep the stench out of the unit. In this corner, as well as all four corners of the unit, you do have stabilizer jacks. We include the tool in the front compartment to loosen those down to the ground. Once you get that foot down to the ground, you are just going to give it another 1/8 quarter turn just to snug it up. And that's just going to take any bounce or sway you see we have in the unit right now away. Off to the left, you do have your black tank flush. The way that works is while your sewer is connected and your black tank valve is open, you'll just hook a garden hose up to here, turn it on, and that's just going to rinse out the tank. So let's say your monitor panel is giving you a false reading, or you're just noticing a smell after a few uses. That'd be a good measure to do just to keep that tank that little bit cleaner. You got your power supply next. Just take a note of that notch there. It lines up with that notch on the trailer side. You push that in, you give it another 1/8 turn, and then you got the threaded collar to really lock it down. And if you follow that back, you do get your standard 30 amp plug end. Most campsites should have this and you can plug right on in. But in the case that you don't have this or you're at home and you want to run your fridge, we do include a 15 amp park adapter. Just keep it in mind, you're going down to 15 amps of power, so you won't be able to run something like your air conditioner. Right here, you'll notice these two little lines coming out of the floor with valves. Those are going to be your low point drains. Whenever you open those guys up, it is just going to drain all the water that's inside the lines out of the unit. So let's say you're leaving the unit for a while and you don't want the water to go stale or stagnant. That'd be the best measure to keep that from happening. And then you do have your sewer outlet. Just take a note, these are the same two ears that you found on your sewer connection. You got your black, and then you got your black tank and your gray tank. You're always going to want to empty your black tank first, as it's your dirtiest water filled from your toilets. And then you can follow behind that with your gray water, which is filled from your sinks and your showers. Typically cleaner water, just trying to keep that hose that little bit cleaner. Off near the front of the unit, you do have what's called a docking station. It opens with just a silver 751 key. We'll include that with your unit. Just taking that, opening that up. And it does give you access to a quick connect for hot and cold water for an exterior shower, as well as your city water connection. And then just this little valve here, so that is just gonna bypass from city to your fresh tank. And then this being your city connection, so if you were on that city connection, you just thread a hose into there and it would pressurize all your lines. And then you wouldn't have to worry about filling your or running your water pump. Right down below, you'll notice another little line coming out with the same valve. That's just going to be your fresh tank drain. In the front of the unit, if you open this up, we do include this little garden hose sprayer. That's what's going to connect inside your docking station. And you do have that 15 amp park adapter I told you about. And then this right here is just your front tongue jack override. So let's say for whatever reason your tongue jack failed and you don't have power, you just pop this cap off. There's a little nut inside there that connects to that, and you can manually run your jack up and down if you were to have to do so. And then right here at the front of the unit, you also have your battery box as well as your battery disconnect. Inside this box carries your battery, and the battery disconnect allows you to disconnect the batteries from the unit if you're leaving it for storage. If you open up this flap here, it does give you access to your 2 propane tanks, and in most cases you'll be able to do what you need to do with this cover on. But let's say you want to switch your tanks over, or for the purpose of the video, just take this off. You have this little selector valve. So with the selector valve pointed this way, you are just going to be running off this tank. If you were to turn it to this side, it would run off this tank. Just allows you to then switch tanks whenever one goes empty. You can get one filled up. And then you just have your twin jack, one way's up, the other way's down, and then you do have a nice little light on the front. On this side of the unit, you open up this compartment. We do include that jack tool I told you about. It just hooks onto there. One way's down, the other way's up. And then 25-foot water hose we also include. Taking a couple more steps down the unit, you do have a nice little leash attachment. You can also use it for a bottle opener. And then you got this little flap here. This is just gonna be for your range hood inside. So whenever you're traveling, you are just gonna wanna try and have that closed. It stops dust from getting in. But if you get your campsite and you wanna run your stove, you just gotta open it up with those two flaps there, and then it just allows the fumes to then ventilate out. And then you got your furnace exhaust. So whenever you are running your furnace, it's gonna be blowing out hot air, so just be mindful of that. And then just your hot water heater service port, popping that open. It comes right off. You have your drain bolt right at the bottom. If you loosen that off, pull that out, you're gonna drain all the water out of the hot water tank. Whenever you first get to your site, always check to make sure the tank's full. You're just gonna do so by pulling that pressure relief valve. Right now the unit's winterized, so there's nothing that came out, but that would just be telling you that you wouldn't want to fire up that tank if there's no water coming out. You always want to see that shot of water. And then I'm going to go over a reset procedure once we're inside. The button I'm going to refer to is just right here. To get inside the unit, you just have to take this assist handle, push it up, and fold it 90 degrees. It'll lock into place. Open up your door. Whenever you do have this door fully open, just being mindful that it does block your awning arm. So whenever you're running that awning, you just want to make sure that door is, I guess, closed enough to make sure that you can pass it. But whenever you are bringing your stair down, the door does have to be fully open so the stairs can clear. And you do have adjustable feet on the stairs as well. You just have to pull this pull this knob, and you can adjust the feet to your campsite needs. Taking a step inside, you got your fire extinguisher right on your right. That's gonna be just like home, pull the pin and shoot. And then if you just take a step towards the back of the unit, you do have your nice little monitor panel system where you got your you can turn on your lights, your awning light, your water pump, and as well as your water heater, and you can run that on gas or electric. Whenever you do fire it up on gas, you're gonna hit that button. The heater's gonna try and light itself 3 times. If on the 3rd try it doesn't light, this DSI fault light's gonna come on, at which point you just gotta turn this off, go hit that reset button I showed you earlier, and turn this back on, and it'll try relighting itself. You can also connect this up to Bluetooth on your phone. You do just have to download the One Control RV app, and you can connect this to Bluetooth, and it'll give you access to all this stuff through your phone. To run that slide out, you're just gonna hit that button out. Slide out's gonna start making its way out. Just being mindful whenever you are running the slide out, just to double check to make sure you have space on either side of the slide, both inside and out, making sure nothing's blocking it. You know that slide is fully extended when you hear the motor wind up and the clicking. So there's that clicking. And then you do have your awning button. You hit that button, extend, making sure that your door is closed enough that the awning can clear it. You hit that button, extend, it's gonna start making its way out. You're gonna know that awning's fully extended when you see the back of the metal tube and the little flap hang down. Sometimes that flap can get stuck, so you just have to retract it and put it back out. So there's the back of the metal tube and the little flap hanging down, just telling you that awning's fully extended. Now if it were to start raining, you can take any arm, front or rear, and just pull on it, and it is just going to change the pitch of the awning head, allowing the water to then run off. Now if you do like that pitch better, you could do the same thing with the front arm. and it's going to allow for more shade underneath the awning. Just always making sure you push those arms back to straight whenever you go to bring it in. Bringing it in is pretty simple. You just press and hold that button until it contacts the side of the trailer. Once it contacts the side of the trailer, the motors are going to cut out. All the buttons in this unit do also have their own center push buttons, so you can turn whatever one's on and off individually if you were to want to do so. To get the bed to fold down, you just have to take the couch, grab the foot of it, give it a pull, and it's going to fold out. And then just take your travel latches on your bed, give those a pull. Keeping in mind this end does swivel, so just bringing that down. Down comes your bed, and then you do have a little window in the front of it as well as blind, and then you do have plugins on each side of the bed tucked away inside there. All the blinds inside the unit do work the same way. They just kind of sit where you leave them. To get the bed to go up, you're just grabbing the foot of the bed and pushing it up. And then just always making sure you lock those travel latches into place. That way it can't go anywhere. And then to get the couch back, you just grab the foot of the couch again, kind of grab the head of the couch and just fold it back into place. These reclining couches also are heated and massaged, as well as USB plugins. And then you do have your little entertainment center here with your TV backer being right here. You have your coax plugins as well as your antenna button. So whenever that green light is on, it's just telling you that the antenna on the roof is on. Whenever the antenna is on, it's also improving radio frequency. This unit is also pre-wired for Wi-Fi. If you were to want to do so, you just have to contact the parts department. And you do have some nice storage right below that entertainment center. And then we do get into the kitchen area where you have that overhead fan. Whenever you are running the stove, you are just going to want to make sure you have that overhead fan on, because this stove does run off propane. With that being said, the furnace is also propane. So this unit does come equipped with an LP detector, which is just right here. So if this guy's were to start going off, you are just going to want to turn off the main supply of propane off at the front of the unit and just open up all the windows. And that way you can air it out and ventilate it. This window here is a fire exit. You're just having to lift those handles and the window will pop right out and swivel out. To get the stove going, you do just have to turn that knob over to light and hit it with the sparker. Sometimes it can take a while to get all the air out of the lines, so just kind of be patient with it. If it doesn't light right away, it's not a big deal. And you do have a switch on the right here to turn some accent lights on as well as the oven light on. Just giving that a second to clear all the air out of the lines. And there you go, it does light right on up eventually. Like I said, sometimes it can take a couple minutes just to clear all the air out of the lines. To get the oven going, it's kind of the same idea. You're just going to turn that knob over to the little pilot option. Press that knob in, hold it for a second, because it does take a little bit to get the air out of that little orifice. And just hitting your sparker. Like I said, sometimes it can take a second just to clear all the air out of the lines. Just being patient with it. Just keep it. There you go. You hit that sparker. It's going to hold the pilot. Keep pressing that button in for another second. Now that it's holding its own pilot, you just turn it up to your desired temperature and it would fire right on up. Always making sure you turn that off whenever you're done with it. Closing that up. The AC in this unit does move all its air through all the floor ducting you see, and the furnace does move all its air through all the floor registers you see. You got the thermostat right on the wall here. on the left, you have your system control. So you have heat, which is going to be one click to the right. Off is one click to the left, and then you got fan, and then you have cool. With it on fan, it's only going to be moving air around with the air conditioner. It's not going to be actually cooling. You have to actually click it over to cool for the cooling effect to take into place. And then for the fan, you have low and high, and you also have on and auto. If you have it on, that fan's going to blow full time. If you click, and if you have it on auto, it'll become an on-demand system. So once the thermostat senses the temperature that you have set, it'll just cut itself out. You have a sink with hot and cold water. In this cupboard here, I will mention, if you take those 2 screws out, this is just a false panel. It'll give you access to your hot water heater. And on the left of that is another false panel. And if you take that one out, it'll give you access to your water pump for winterization as well. And then you do have your Furrion fridge right on the back wall. This is going to be a 12-volt fridge. And just all the controls are just right on the top here. And then you do notice you do have a what's called a charcoal filter. That's pretty simple. You just take that out. You can, our parts department can order you more of these. But that's just going to help try and keep the smell down inside the fridge. And then just right below that, you do have your little breaker panel with your fuses. Whenever a fuse pops, there'll be a little red indicator light telling you which one's gone. And whenever a fuse pops, it's going to sit in the, or whenever a breaker pops, it's going to sit in the middle. So you just got to turn it off and then back on again to reset it. And if you open up the bathroom, gives you access in the bathroom, turning that light on. If you ever have an outlet that doesn't work, always check your main GFI plug right here. You got Tesla on the bottom, reset in the middle. So always just making sure that green light's on, telling you got a successful power source. That's going to be it for this unit here. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.